Have you ever just sat there at 2 in the morning and just realized that we've been scammed? Not by a Nigerian prince or a crypto bro promising you the moon. By civilization itself. The entire setup. Think about it. 10,000 years ago, the feedback loop of life was instant. If you were hungry, you threw a sharp stick at a deer. If the stick hit, you ate. If you missed, you starved. It sucked. But it was honest. Pure cause and effect. Today, if you're hungry, you need a job. To get the job, you need the degree, the voice, or pretty feet. For many, to get the degree, you need a loan. To pay the loan, you need the job. And once you have the job, you do not hunt deer. You spend 8 hours a day filling out forms to get permission to send an email to a guy who does nothing but approve the forms you just sent so he can feel like he contributed to the workflow. We went from survival of the fittest to survival of the best LinkedIn headline. Somewhere along the line, we stopped building things and started building mazes. We traded survival skills for compliance skills. Tonight we are talking about how we got lost in the paperwork. Welcome to the late night spiraling session. Here is the thesis I have been cooking up. We replaced common sense with credentials. We replaced competence with compliance. We built a world where knowing the right person is infinitely more valuable than actually knowing the right thing. It is a specific kind of modern brain rot, where we are technically smarter than ever but functionally we are idiots. We are overeducated and underqualified for reality. We built a hyper-bureaucratic maze where the only skill that matters is navigation. It is no longer about whether you are useful. It is about whether you are more useful than the person who didn't show up. So grab a snack. We are going to dissect how we evolved from tribes that got things done into a society that holds meetings to plan the agenda for the next meeting about the previous meeting. Let us go back to the tribe for a moment. In a tribe, there is no room for nonsense. If you are the guy who says you are a senior strategic flint-knapping consultant, but you cannot actually make a spearhead, the tribe eats you. Or more accurately, the tiger eats you because you did not have a spear. And the tribe watches and nods, because that outcome makes sense. Competence was visible. You either brought back meat or you did not. You either fixed the shelter or the roof leaked on the chief's head and you were gone. There was no hiding in the tribe. You could not fake work by moving rocks from one pile to another and calling it asset reallocation. Then we invented agriculture, surplus cities. Suddenly we needed people to manage the surplus. Accountants, scribes, middle managers. People who did not do the thing, but watched the people doing the thing. Fast forward to now and the layers of abstraction are so thick that you cannot even see the actual work anymore. I have a friend named Dave. Dave works in compliance strategy optimization. I asked Dave what he did last Tuesday. He told me he spent 6 hours editing a PowerPoint slide deck about how to optimize the process of approving travel expenses for the fourth quarter retreat. He was not approving expenses. He was not traveling. He was not even booking the travel. He was making a document about the idea of the process of the thing. He was 3 levels removed from reality. If Dave tried this in the Stone Age and said that we needed to align on spear-throwing protocol while a mammoth was charging, Dave would have been flattened. In the modern maze, Dave is a vice president. He has a corner office and a parking spot. We reached a point where the work is no longer the work. The work is the administration of the work. We are apex predators who voluntarily trapped ourselves in a cage made of PDFs and calendar invites. We act like we are doing something important, but mostly we are generating heat to keep the bureaucracy warm. So how do we decide who gets to be vice president of pointless slides? Credentials. We convinced ourselves that a degree is a receipt for intelligence. It is not. It is a receipt for obedience, a certificate of compliance. To be clear, this is not about doctors or engineers. If someone is operating on my brain or building the bridge I drive over, I want that person to have read the book and passed the test. But for most jobs, let us be honest, the degree, the doctorate, the certifications is just brownie points. Drop people into real-world situations with no script and them malfunction. The car breaks down. The internet goes out. A negotiation goes sideways. They freeze. There's people who didn't graduate high school and can fix anything. Plumbing, electrical, mechanical. These people understand how systems function at a fundamental level. The algorithm deletes them before a human ever sees talent. We built a system that filters out competent rebels and promotes compliance sheep. Degrees became permission slips. Show me the paper that says you sat still, memorized instructions, and avoided trouble for 4 years. It is a barrier designed to keep the wrong people out, not to let the right people in. Here is the darkest part. Even if you play the game, get the degree, and take on the debt. Credentials are only the bouncer at the door. Once you are inside, it is not about what you know, it is about who you know. We pretend we live in a meritocracy. We love stories about talent rising to the top. That story is nonsense. Talent does not rise. People rise. And people pull up their friends. Entire industries run on vibes. The head of marketing is not a genius. He was roommates with the chief executive officer in a fraternity in 1998. That is the qualification. He is fun to drink beer with and does not threaten the boss's ego. We force kids to study until they break down, then hiring decisions happen because two guys realize they like the same band or belong to the same club. Cultural fit interviews are not about fit, they are about sameness. Are you one of us? Will you laugh at the jokes? Networking beats talent every time. If you are brilliant but awkward, quiet, and focused on work, you lose. If you are mediocre but loud, charming, and buying drinks, you win. In a tribe, you could not network your way out of a bear attack. The bear does not care who your father is. In a corporation, the bear sits on the board and is friendly if you compliment his golf swing. This leads to the great inversion. The more useless a job is, the more it pays. The more essential it is, the less respect it gets. Bullshit jobs vanish and nothing changes. Brand strategists disappear and productivity improves. But if trash collectors stop, civilization collapses in days. Sewage backs up. Stores empty. Chaos follows. We saw this during lockdowns. The essential workers were not the people in suits. They were the people driving trucks, stocking shelves, cleaning, delivering, keeping power flowing. How were they rewarded? Temporary applause. Low pay. Forgetting them a week later. Meanwhile, someone makes six figures promoting synergy on a muted video call. Society rewards distance from reality. The closer you are to the dirt, the less you earn. The further you float in abstraction, the more valuable you are. It is a pyramid scheme held together by emails and prestige tokens. The glue is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy behaves like a living organism. Its goal is survival. Once a department exists, it will invent reasons to continue. Problems vanish and new ones appear, so budgets stay intact. That is why you need permission to request permission. That is why compliance training exists, to teach adults not to steal office supplies using cartoons from the 1990s. Somewhere there is a team whose entire purpose is making sure the font is correct. They have meetings about the font. They have managers for the font. We are not solving problems anymore. We are managing complexity created by previous solutions. We call it progress while drowning in administrative weight. So, where does that leave us? I do not have answers. I am just someone in sweatpants. But maybe the first step is admitting it. Admitting that survival did not need this many layers. Admitting that the best resume in the room might belong to the least capable person, and the smartest person might be fixing your car. We built the maze to feel safe. Mostly it just keeps us busy, keeps us distracted, keeps us pretending we have control. Anyway, I am going to apply for a job I am not qualified for because it shows ambition. Good luck to me. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more of the maze and go to sleep.